Hello and welcome back to the Capital Wasteland, and in this episode I plan to finish off the focus tree and hopefully squash the Super Mutant threat that is threatening the Capital Wasteland, and also bring some more of these small nations under the protective umbrella of the Lyon's Brotherhood of Steel. That's right, we are now the Lyon's Brotherhood. There has been an update to this mod between episode 2 and 3, which I will go through shortly. But to start off with, I am going to start my justification on the DC settlements. And if you're wondering why, it is because during the focus Stand Together, the DC settlements and River City each got an event where I requested aid in my fight against the Enclave. And since they did not answer my call to arms, if they're not with me, they're against me. So they will be my first two targets of this episode. And speaking of focuses, let me start with the source, which I've been avoiding for quite a while now. If these super mutants are anything like the Master's army that was fought over 100 years ago, there must be some kind of advanced pre-war facility they are coming from. While we can kill them all day, it is only a temporary slow to their growth. What we need to do is find out where they're coming from. And this will give me adding search for the source, which lowers my political power gain by 20% and my monthly population by 5%. But it must be done. Now for my upcoming conflict against the DC settlements, I've decided, because of this river that cuts through the center of their territory, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, I've decided to split 1st Battalion up, and I've created 2nd Battalion who will guard this border here while 1st Battalion does the initial push against Tenpenny Towers and Megaton. And once they've taken over here, I will guard these river crossings and add some additional units onto this army group order to take over Canterbury Commons, Republic of Dave, etc. Now that means I need a new unit leader, so I'm going to select the most experienced of my units, which is the GNR Garrison, and I'm going to promote Asboth, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope I don't get the lone wolf trait. What do I get? Bruiser. Okay, so it's more attack but less speed, and finesse, which is quite nice. And of course he carries over the field citations he received earlier. Wrong screen. So now let me assign him. He starts at level 2, and I am initially only going to give him Mysterious Stranger for the infantry attack and defense. Sarah Lyons is going to get nothing. I'm waiting for her to get a terrain trait so I can get improvisation expert, but if it does take too long, I will go for Sneering Imperialist for the terrain production rate. But for Mr. Chapman over here, what I have decided to give him is awareness for increased reconnaissance, but more importantly 20% less chance of being wounded in combat. Now, as for the update in between episodes, I just want to run through what the devs have done quickly. They've added base walls in the Virginia swamps between Ronto and the Hoses, which is up north here, to trigger during the game. They've added naval bases to the Citadel and River City, which is quite nice because initially I started without them. Added a war goal for the Enclave against Constance Domain, which is I'm not sure where that is. I don't see it on the map. Perhaps I, as one of the nations, are conquered already. And they've added another crossing between Enclave and Terran Company, which would be this one over here. They also changed the names of the Enclave and the DC Brotherhood of Steel to Raven Rock and Lyon's chapter respectively. They've rebalanced the Raven Rock and Lyon's chapter starting text and laws. Okay, the laws I can't have a look at, but let's have a look at if there's any changes to the tech levels. No, it seems very much the same. Maybe there's some starting tech that's new. And they've changed the requirements for some Brotherhood of Steel focus. Now, unfortunately, I've done the vast majority, so I can't have a look at that. Then they have fixed the name for the controlled burning faction not showing up. They've fixed the Brotherhood not having access to any conscription laws, which I have seen over here. So now I have the full set available to me. I cannot go down to scribes or knights because I'm not at war, but I'm not planning on doing it right now, as that will literally half my recruitable population, and I'm running at 4k, and I think I want to keep that up for a while, but I might do that in the future. Also started me not having a economic law. Again, I already signed that up myself. And apparently the Enclave also did not have access to conscription laws. That's been fixed. And they've also fixed a few countries' names and some typos. So mod is still very much in the process of being updated, which is great. And now you can see, so this is now the Lyon's chapter. And now for a quick look at the templates I am using. So I have my 20 width paladin unit. This is my general purpose one, where I have one fire team for defense and one demo for attack. You could make more specialized ones by either having more fire teams for defensive or more demos for attack. I prefer a nice balanced unit. My Brotherhood soldiers is a mixture of normal infantry and enforcers along with fire team and demo, again for more general purpose use. Both the paladins and the Brotherhood soldiers have anti-tank. Just the infantry right now have chems, as I think their experience loss will be great because they have less armor, so I want to save as much as them as possible. So those are my two normal units. And then onto my garrison ones. I am using the starting robot militia template, which I like using when I have the production capacity, because I strongly believe it is a real winner. For I get 9.6 suppression at the cost of only 30 manpower. Now I do realize the fact that robot production is high, but I just want to show you the starting garrison unit was, I've left unchanged, and that was 8 suppression for 115 manpower, almost 4 times as much manpower for less suppression. Now the enforcers do give more suppression and for only 3 times as much manpower, but right gear is not that much cheaper than robots. For example, the final right gear has a production cost of 7, whereas the robot I'm using is 9, and the most upgraded version I can go to 2.5. So if you have the production capacity, I suggest trying out a nice, decent robot garrison unit. I don't think you will be disappointed. Now, I'm not planning on adding on any more support units to these templates, as I went down the path in refined warfare for higher special forces capacity rather than the organization boost for my support units. But if I had gone the other way, I would possibly consider adding on some power armor support, maybe logistics if this map was a bit bigger, and for my garrison unit I would add on either, okay, I haven't researched either the dog units or the CNC robots, as the dogs, there's been a bit of nerf to their breakthrough, but their suppression is still very nice, adds an extra 2 on, and the CNC robots, even the base one, also adds another 2 suppression onto the template. But I believe I'll be keeping my templates very much as they are right now for the rest of the game. So there's just one last thing I want to do, and that is for 2nd Battalion. I want to change this template, which is the 10 width, up to the 20 width, as it will only be the 4 of them holding this border crossing, and I want them to be as strong as they possibly can. I will upgrade the other 4 in 1st Battalion when I can, but I am going to upgrade the last 4 power armor units to my paladin template now rather than later, before I run out of special forces cap. So without further ado, let's get this clock started. Okay, so Elder Lyon is looking for the source of the super mutants, and we will now search nearby vaults. Our data shows there are a few vaults near DC that could be the source of these creatures. We should send a scouting team to investigate the closest one first. Now get the event. Vault 108. Alright, Vault 108 has been searched. While not the home of super mutants, Vault 108 seemed host to its own brand of scientific horror. In addition to a series of awful decisions meant to drive the vault near to a state of chaos, Vault 108 was involved in a series of cloning experiments. These clones are hostile to all non-clones and seem only capable of saying their own name, Gary. Our scouts were still able to recover some data from the vault, but are unsure what to do with it. So I can either destroy it for extra 5% stability, or we can use some of it to get a boost to medical technology, but then I'll lose 3% stability. Since my stability is at 63%, I would like the extra 5, so I'm going to destroy it. Then that now leads me up to a combination of the 2 trees here. The source found. Though the war with the Enclave raged, the super mutant threat did not sit idly by, and neither did our efforts to find their home. Now we know they come from the Lost Vault 87, and even better, we know a way inside, and we get event the source found. Now, at the end of the previous episode, I did unlock 2 very nice advanced technologies. The one being the plasma rifle, but unfortunately that is effectively 4 years to research. So I will be doing that when it gets a bit close to the time. Probably once I get to this stage here, I'll begin researching that. And then I also unlocked advanced power armor. But to do that one, apart from the very long research time, I also need to get high pressure hydraulics. Okay, the source is found, but unfortunately all I can tell you about it is blnevents.16description.bc. on that note, if you have ever visited the submods page in the Steam workshop, you will see that they are looking for help in completing this mod. So they haven't asked me to do this, but I'm asking anybody out there that's watching, if you have any experience in creating mods and games like this, please let them know so you can help, or at least offer your help in furthering this fantastic mod for the east coast of Old World Blues, which so many people want to become a reality. But I will get an end in sight, which gains a conquer focus war goal against. Okay, so available war goal: take little lamplight from full stop. Expires 6 of the. Oh boy, 2280. So I've got 2 years to do that. Little lamplight is here in the Tenant Corporation territory. Okay, so I've got 2 years to do that. I don't have a goal. What's it? A war goal to make it shorter. And the armor hitless anyway, so that one will just have to wait for a bit. Okay, so after the source found, I now have End of the Nightmare, the battle for Vault 87. Okay, well, the Super Mutants of Vault 87 will not go quietly. The battle to disable their facility and end their reign of terror must be carefully planned, or it may be one we lose. And I get the event, the battle for Vault 87. I'm going to do this now, even though I'm not ready to invade them yet, just purely because I did say this episode I did want to finish the focus tree, but we'll see what that event gives me. Alright, I have the battle for Vault 87 event. This I was not expecting. I'll get to that now. Okay, so the Super Mutants of Vault 87 put up stiff resistance to the assault by our Knights and Paladins. Brutal room by room and hall by hall close quarters combat ensued as our soldiers cleared each section of the massive vault. Finally reaching the rooms where the despicable mutants created more of their kind, scribes and special protective equipment recovered from Enclave facilities were able to neutralize the dreaded FEV. While it does not mean an end to the presence of super mutants in the Capital Wasteland, it does mean that each one we put down will not have 2 pop up in its place. Finally, this war can be won. Manpower minus 125. Okay. I don't know, because this now Prodigal Sons has been bypassed. That was this one here to get a cooperative future with the outcasts. I don't know if this has happened because I've done the focus without actually conquering Little Lamplight. Well, but that next focus was going to be with the Super Mutants methods dealt with, the caches of Enclave equipment keeping our scribes busy. Maybe it is time to try and reconcile with our lost brothers at Fort Independence. And then event a cooperative future. But unfortunately that has been bypassed, so it's not available, and that marks the end of this short but quite enjoyable focus tree. Initially when I first saw this focus tree, I was a bit shocked at how short it was, but then after going through all these events that have been superbly written, it has given me enough to form a goal for myself, which is still to remove the super mutant threat and the Enclave, which has been done, but also to bring everybody under my own protective umbrella. Now I just want to see if, okay, now the outcast gizmat's still there, as well as the Super Mutants Crusader still there, Super Mutant Presence, and Search of the Source. Okay, so all those debuffs are still, and well, buffs from Crusade are still there. So obviously this is a work in progress. So hopefully things will be fleshed out better in the future. And that's recon infiltration completed. So I have 3 more left to go before I can use this research slot on actual researching tech. So I'm going to go for the warrior code. It's going to suck my population factor, but my entire army is going to get these lovely bonuses. So I'm happy with that trade-off. Right, I have unlocked a free military factory. Now I just want to show you how I like to prioritize where I put it. On this logistics screen I can now see what I am in the red for, and then by hovering over it I can see which one will take the longest to actually replenish to my units, both deployed and in training. And in this case it is infantry equipment, so this factory is going to go right there just to boost that production up. And as my arms workshops do get completed, I will do the same thing for each one. Okay, at long last my justification against the DC settlements is finished. Now I'm hoping I'm not making a terrible mistake here, because I'm clearly outnumbered, but I'm hoping for quantity over quality. I'm also going to start my declaration on Rivet City purely because it is cheaper than going up against Talon, and also shorter in days. So I'm going to push with 1st Battalion. I want 2nd Battalion here to hold as best as they bloody can, and we'll see what happens. Okay, if they do end up falling back, I'm going to fall them back to my 2 river crossings here. There's my agriculture, so I can get my manpower up ever so slightly. But I'm going to pull them back to my side, or the citadel side of the river. So they'll have to contend with the river crossing. But first is pushing quite nicely. Just need this Royal Knights to hold. I might actually send... Okay, let me actually send my infantry, even though they're 10 widths, to go and support. Now I don't want to give them a new order because they'll go to the side. So initially I'm going to just do that and add them on like there, and hopefully they can hold things off. Okay, they've lost megaton. I have another factory. Where do I need it? I think on demo, yes. Onto demolitions equipment you shall go. And now that they've lost megaton, oh, that's a nice big jump towards capitulation for them. Now originally I was going to bring the power armor across to push upwards. I'm actually going to start Sarah to see if they can counterattack. And I was going to leave the infantry to guard these 2 crossings. But I don't know if that's going to be an option anymore. What I will do is start to send... Oh, this is not looking great for these guys over here. Hopefully, yes, okay, they've relinked up. Okay, now I'm going to take my 4 infantry here and actually add them into Sarah Lyons' group, because the others are not actually attacking. And then these 4 here I'm going to actually try push across, since this is just a what do you call them? Okay, now I'm going to draw these guys manually and try hold off. Let's take half of them. Yes, Will Scott, General Garrison, 2 brilliant choices. See if I can cut these guys off from any kind of support. Okay, I'm going to set them on 1st Battalion on aggressive, so hopefully they carry on pushing out in all directions they possibly can. Okay, this is a nice encirclement here, 13 at least. They'll do very nicely. Get these guys to push in here, attack from both sides. Are those the free fighters? Oh my word. Okay. Oh, lots of helmets just popping there. I love it when it happens to other people and not to me. Okay, it is done. Let's get the lines linked up. Alright, now it always comes the tricky bit. I need to expand this line here, then delete 1st Battalion and make sure everyone is in there. Yes, okay. Right, now that I have my lines joined up, this is becoming a lot easier. Looks like I do have a situation of quality over quantity. I am hoping to capture a large amount of enforcer equipment. Canterbury Commons left, and then I think it will be Republic of Dave. And this war should be, and even before that. Okay, what other did I get? 61 crowd control gear. That I will take, thank you very much, and a lot of guns. Okay, take everything from them. And already the wasteland is looking a lot more organized. And here's some great news. I finally have a trade node in Canterbury Commons. So I'm going to see, can it be, no, it's ready level 10. That is fantastic. And the second battle for Hoover Dam has just kicked off as well. Alright, it is time for River City to answer for not helping me in our war against the Enclave. So, declaration of war. They only have the 1 victory point. 2nd Battalion is just purely holding the line here at the river crossing. Oh, this is going so much, and I've just realized I've missed a few days here, but I need to justify my war goal on taking, okay, so Little Templar is what I wanted according to the focus. I'll do it on there. 1st of March next year. That's not too far away, and I think it actually is within the boundaries of what the focus was. I do have my canoes running on patrol to provide any shore bombardment they may need here to assist in their attack. Okay, and this is what having proper templates gives you. As you can see, they are reinforcing, but they're never properly filling the 100 combat width, where I am perfectly. And I, in addition, have shore bombardment. I am attacking from multiple angles. I have close air support, and at sometimes I also have an intel advantage. And there we go. Rivet City is taken. Whole bunch of more equipment. I love it. It's just the one state. Take everything. No navy. I actually checked this time. Whole bunch more cities. Now let me prepare for Talent Company. And finally I can start coring. So the Royal Estates, no, Richmond first, then the Royal Estates, and that is all for now, but 2 is better than nothing. Now, unlike some, I do actually enjoy using a navy where I can in Old World Blues, so I'm going to use my acquired naval experience, even though I haven't been able to research anything new. I am going to upgrade these as best I can, and I will now, okay, one more view, start building the Mark II, and I will now start refitting the naval ships I do have to the Mark II level. It should not take much time at all, and to make sure it goes very smoothly, I will be cancelling making convoys for a while. Alright, it is New Year's Day 2280, and since taking risk has paid off for me so far, even though my justification is still going for the Talent Company, I want to start justifying on Constance Domain, just to try get a bit of a head start on these long justifications. And if any of the devs are watching this, please, if you guys would be so kind as to either give an advisor or modify an advisor to give a reduction in the justification time, that would be, personally, I think, brilliant. Alright, my justification for Little Lamplight is finished. I am really interested to see if anything changes with regards to the whole Super Mutant debacle once this is over, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm using a simple hammer and anvil tactic. First battalion would be the hammer, and then second battalion is the anvil. And this is quite a small one, so it should be over quite quickly. There's my armor hardening for my droids that will help them out. Then I actually want to start working on my motorization, motorization, because I am running out of special forces cap. So the tank designer, and let me start off with that, so I can get all that research done as fast as I can and start producing tanks. Right, they are reinforcing quite quickly here to defend Little Lamplight, so I'm going to try something and send these 3 in just to try and break things up a little bit. Alright, that seems to have done the trick. Now let me see if okay, I didn't have to destroy everyone. There's a nice big amount of riot control gear I've got there. No navy. I'll take everyone, and then I'm going to set up for my next little war against the Constance Domain. And to celebrate May the 4th, I am going to do a few things now. First of all, I'm going to start my justification on the Church of Rocky, just to again bring move things along a bit faster. Then I have 51 army experience, so it is time for me to increase my special forces cap again by 20 and bring down my training time by 10%. And then lastly, finally, Sarah has got the Ranger terrain trait, so that now gives me a chance to get improvisation expert, and soon I'll be able to get logistics wizard. For Chapman over here, I am not sure. The recovery rate will be quite nice, but I think I'm going to go for gun nut just to boost my fire team attack and defense in my infantry units. So Constance Domain, you are next on Elder Lyons' hit list. No hammer and anvil tactic with this one, because there's just the one victory point and no water crossing. I am simply going to try squeeze them like they were in a vice. And at this rate, this is going to be over in a matter of days. Okay, and there we are, 5 or 6 days. Everything taken. Good amount of loot for me to use. And that will be that. So there we are. Lyon's Brotherhood Chapter of Steel, looking a lot stronger. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Please join me again in episode 4, because Elder Lyon has discovered that Initiate Asher did not pass away in the collapsed building, but is now leading the pit and wants to go see what the now Lord of the pit has been up to. But again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.